Hi there, welcome back to the channel. Or if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm really excited to have you join me today because we're about to dive into something that can completely transform the way your home looks and feels from the outside. We're talking about trendy front garden landscaping ideas for 2025. Yep, that's right. We're going to explore the latest and greatest in outdoor home garden designs that are set to make a big splash this year. Now, you might be wondering, why should I even bother updating my front garden? Well, think about it. The front of your house is the first thing people see. It sets the tone for your entire home. It's like the cover of a book. And in today's world, where curb appeal matters more than ever, having a front garden that stands out can make a huge difference. But here's the thing. We're not just going to talk about making things look pretty. We're going to focus on creating gardens that reflect who you are, that support your lifestyle, and that are sustainable for the environment. Because let's be honest, no one wants a garden that looks great but takes a ton of time and water to maintain. In this video, I'm going to share with you the key trends that landscape designers and home garden enthusiasts are loving this year. We'll cover everything from plant choices to layout ideas, lighting tips, and even smart garden technology that can make your life so much easier. Whether you're working with a small space or a large front yard, there will be something here for everyone. And don't worry if you're not a professional gardener or designer. I'll keep everything simple and practical with ideas you can actually implement. This isn't about perfection. It's about creating a space that you love coming home to. Now, before we dive into the trends, let's take a moment to think about why updating your front garden in 2025 is such a great idea. The world of garden design is evolving. People are looking for ways to make their outdoor spaces more functional, more beautiful, and more in tune with nature. We're seeing a big shift towards sustainable practices, minimalist aesthetics, and multifunctional spaces. And as we spend more time at home, our gardens have become extensions of our living spaces. The front garden, in particular, offers a unique opportunity. It's not just for show. It's a place where you can connect with nature, greet your neighbors, and create a welcoming atmosphere for guests. So, whether you're thinking of a complete overhaul or just a few updates, you're in the right place. I've got plenty of inspiration and practical tips coming your way. All right, let's get started. In the next chapter, we'll explore why updating your front garden this year makes so much sense. We'll look at the benefits, the trends driving these changes, and how you can start thinking about your own front yard makeover. So, why should you update your front garden this year? What makes 2025 such a great time to rethink and redesign this space? Let's talk about it. First of all, the way we live and use our homes has changed a lot in the past few years. More people are working from home, spending time in their local neighborhoods, and valuing outdoor spaces more than ever before. Your front garden isn't just a pretty backdrop anymore. It's an active part of your lifestyle. Think about the feeling you get when you walk up to a home with a beautifully designed front garden. It's welcoming, it sets the mood, and it gives a little glimpse of the people who live there. Now imagine giving that same feeling to your visitors, your neighbors, and even to yourself every time you come home. That's the power of a well-thought-out front garden. Another big reason to update your garden now is that the trend for 2025 are all about sustainability and ease of maintenance. In other words, you can have a gorgeous garden without spending endless hours working on it or using tons of water and resources. Modern garden design is smart, eco-friendly, and perfectly suited to busy lifestyles. And let's not forget about property value. A great front garden can significantly boost your home's curb appeal and, by extension, its market value. Whether or not you're planning to sell, this is always a nice bonus. In many cases, even simple updates like adding new plants, improving lighting, or refreshing the hardscaping can make a big visual impact. But beyond aesthetics and value, there's an even more personal reason to update your garden this year. It's about well-being. Studies have shown that spending time in nature reduces stress and improves mental health. Having a green, inviting space right at the front of your home encourages you to step outside, take a breath, and enjoy the moment. Now, let's talk about what's driving these trends. Why are people moving towards more sustainable and functional gardens? Well, climate awareness is a huge factor. We're all becoming more conscious of how our choices impact the environment. Using drought-tolerant plants, installing smart irrigation, and choosing materials responsibly are all part of this movement. Another trend is the blending of indoor and outdoor living. People want their outdoor spaces to feel like extensions of their homes. That means creating front gardens that are not only beautiful, but also usable. Think cozy seating areas, pathways that invite exploration, and gardens that can even provide food or herbs. Minimalism is also playing a role. In 2025, less is more. Clean lines, carefully selected plants, and thoughtful lighting create spaces that feel modern and uncluttered. This doesn't mean your garden has to be bare or sterile. It just means that every element should have a purpose and contribute to the overall harmony of the space. Technology is another exciting influence. Smart garden devices, like app-controlled irrigation systems and solar-powered lighting, make it easier than ever to maintain a beautiful garden with minimal effort. You can set timers, adjust watering schedules, and even monitor plant health from your phone. So, to sum it up, updating your front garden in 2025 is about embracing a new approach to outdoor living. It's about creating a space that reflects your style, supports your lifestyle, and respects the environment. Whether you want a lush green retreat, a modern minimalist statement, or a multi-functional outdoor room, there are endless possibilities. In the next chapter, we're going to get into the nuts and bolts of good garden design. We'll look at the key principles that make front gardens work, from balance and color to lighting and texture. If you're ready to start planning your own garden transformation, you won't want to miss it. Let's dive in. Now that we've talked about why updating your front garden in 2025 is such a great idea, let's dive into the fun part: how to design it. A beautiful front garden doesn't happen by accident. There are a few key design principles that can help guide you, whether you're starting from scratch or simply refreshing what you already have. Don't worry, this isn't about following strict rules or copying someone else's garden. It's about understanding the basics, so you can create a space that feels right for you in your home. So let's get started. The first principle is balance and symmetry. Now, that doesn't mean everything has to be perfectly even on both sides, but you do want to create a sense of harmony. Look at your house from the street. How does your garden frame it? Are there plants or features on one side that feel heavier or taller than the other? Try to balance those elements so that the eye moves naturally across the space. Symmetry works really well for more traditional or formal homes, while a more relaxed, balanced asymmetry look can suit modern styles. For example, you might plant a tall tree or shrub on one side and balance it with a large pot or a cluster of smaller plants on the other. The goal is to create a pleasing flow. Next, think about layering plants for texture and depth. This is one of the easiest ways to make your garden look lush and inviting. Instead of planting everything in a single row or keeping it all the same height, use layers. Start with low-growing ground covers or small flowers at the front. Behind those, add medium-height shrubs or grasses. And towards the back, use taller plants or small trees. This layering creates visual interest and gives your garden a sense of depth, even if you have a small space to work with. Texture is another important part of layering. Mix plants with different leaf shapes, sizes, and colors. Pair soft, feathery grasses with bold, sculptural succulents. Combine glossy green leaves with matte or silver foliage. These contrasts make your garden more dynamic and visually appealing. Now let's talk about color palette trends for 2025. Earth tones are making a big comeback. Think warm browns, soft greens, muted yellows, and rusty reds. These colors feel grounded and natural, helping your garden blend beautifully with its surroundings. At the same time, pops of vibrant color are very on trend, especially deep purples, electric blues, and bright oranges. You don't need a lot. A few well-placed blooms or colorful pots can create a striking effect. Another popular look is the monochromatic garden. This involves using variations of one color, say, different shades of green, to create a cohesive, calming space. It's a great choice if you want your front garden to feel modern and elegant. Lighting is often overlooked, but it's a game changer. Lighting design isn't just about visibility at night. It's about creating mood and highlighting key features. Start with practical lighting, like path lights that guide visitors safely to your front door. Then add accent lights to showcase your favorite plants, a beautiful tree, or a piece of garden art. Uplighting a tree or washing light across a wall can create dramatic effects that make your garden magical after dark. And with so many solar-powered options available now, you can add lighting without worrying about wiring or high-energy costs. Plus, many of these lights can be controlled remotely, so you can easily adjust the mood. One more design principle I want to mention is scale and proportion. Be mindful of how the size of your garden elements relates to your house and to each other. A tiny pot in front of a large modern home can look out of place. Likewise, oversized features can overwhelm a small cottage garden. Choose plants, containers, and structures that complement your home's architecture and the scale of your space. The goal is to create a garden that feels like a natural extension of your home, not an afterthought. Finally, remember to leave room for movement and change. Gardens are living spaces. They grow and evolve over time. Design with flexibility in mind, so you can adjust plantings, add new features, or simply enjoy how your garden matures from season to season. So there you have it, the key principles that can help guide your front garden design. Balance and symmetry, layering for texture and depth, thoughtful use of color, creative lighting, and mindful scale. In the next chapter, we'll take these ideas further and explore the hottest front garden landscaping trends for 2025. We'll look at what's new, what's popular, and what you can bring into your own space this year. You won't want to miss it. Let's keep going. All right, now it's time for the fun part. Let's dive into the top front garden landscaping trends for 2025. If you're wondering what's hot this year, what designers are loving, and what homeowners are bringing into their front yards, this chapter is for you. These trends aren't just about looks. They're about function, sustainability, and creating outdoor spaces that really enhance your lifestyle. So whether you want a simple refresh or a total transformation, you're bound to find some ideas here that inspire you. Let's start with one of the biggest trends right now, sustainable gardens. More and more people are thinking about how their garden choices affect the planet. In 2025, it's all about using drought-tolerant and native plants. These plants are adapted to your local climate, so they require less water and are easier to maintain. Drought-tolerant doesn't mean boring, by the way. You can find an incredible variety of colorful, textural plants that thrive with minimal irrigation. Think lavender, ornamental grasses, succulents, and native wildflowers. These plants not only look stunning, but also attract pollinators like bees and butterflies, helping to support local ecosystems. Alongside drought-tolerant planting, xeriscaping is gaining popularity. Xeriscaping involves designing gardens that need very little water. This can mean replacing large areas of thirsty lawn with gravel, mulch, or stone, combined with well-placed planting beds. The result is a modern, low-maintenance look that's perfect for today's climate-aware gardener. Next up, low-maintenance designs. Let's be honest, most of us don't have endless hours to spend weeding, watering, and pruning. The good news is front gardens in 2025 are all about working smarter, not harder. People are embracing the use of gravel and mulch to suppress weeds and retain soil moisture. This not only makes your garden easier to care for, but also gives it a clean, contemporary look. Artificial turf is another option for those who want the look of grass without the hassle. Today's artificial grasses are incredibly realistic and can be combined with real planting areas for a natural effect. Hardscaping is also playing a big role. We're seeing a lot of modern materials like exposed concrete, steel edging, and large format pavers. These elements create strong lines and structure in the garden, which contrast beautifully with softer plantings. Plus, they're durable and require very little upkeep. One of my favorite trends is vertical gardening. This is especially useful if you have a small front yard or want to make use of walls and fences. Green walls and trellises allow you to grow plants vertically, adding greenery without taking up ground space. You can create living walls with ferns, ivy, herbs, or flowering plants. Not only does this add texture and interest, but it also provides a bit of privacy and can help cool the space in summer. Speaking of small spaces, vertical gardening is a game changer for urban front yards. Even if you have just a small courtyard or porch, a well-designed vertical feature can bring life and beauty to your entrance. Now, let's talk about the modern minimalist aesthetic. This trend is huge in 2025. It's all about clean lines, geometric planting patterns, and a restrained color palette. Instead of filling your garden with lots of different plants and decorations, focus on a few strong elements. Use bold, sculptural plants, like agaves or clipped boxwoods, set against simple backgrounds. Group similar plants together for impact, and leave plenty of open space to create a sense of calm and order. Minimalist gardens pair beautifully with modern architecture, but can also bring a fresh, updated look to more traditional homes. The key is to edit carefully and choose every element with intention. Another exciting trend is the rise of mixed-use front yards. More people are combining beauty with functionality in their gardens. Why not add a small seating area or even grow some of your own food in the front yard? A simple bench under a tree, a couple of comfortable chairs, or even a bistro set can transform your front garden into a space where you actually spend time, not just something to look at. Edible gardens are also moving to the front. Herbs, vegetables, and fruit trees can be both attractive and practical. Imagine walking out your front door and snipping fresh basil or picking a lemon from your own tree. It's a wonderful way to connect with nature and make the most of your space. Finally, we can't talk about 2025 trends without mentioning smart garden technology. Today's gadgets make it easier than ever to manage your garden with minimal effort. Automated irrigation systems are a game changer. These systems can adjust watering schedules based on weather forecasts, soil moisture, and plant needs. Some can even be controlled from your phone, so you can manage your garden while you're at work or on vacation. Solar-powered garden lights are another must-have. They're energy efficient, easy to install, and add instant atmosphere. Use them to light pathways, highlight plants, or create cozy corners that look magical after dark. So there you have it, some of the top front garden landscaping trends for 2025. Sustainability, low maintenance, vertical gardening, minimalist style, multifunctional spaces, and smart technology. The best part is, you don't have to follow every trend. Choose the ones that resonate with you and fit your space and lifestyle. In the next chapter, we'll shift gears a bit and talk about practical outdoor home garden design tips. I'll share some simple ways to bring all these ideas together and create a front garden that really works for you. Stay with me, it's going to be good. Alright, now that we've covered the latest trends, let's get practical. In this chapter, I'll share some outdoor home garden design tips that will help you bring everything together and create a front garden that looks great, works well, and feels like a natural part of your home. The first tip is to design for your climate zone. This might sound obvious, but it's amazing how often it gets overlooked. Before you fall in love with a particular plant or garden style, check whether it will thrive where you live. Using plants that are suited to your local climate makes your garden more resilient and easier to care for. It also reduces water use and helps your garden blend naturally with the surrounding environment. Many nurseries and garden centers provide information on plant hardiness zones, where you can find this info online. Next, think about choosing the right plants for your style and maintenance level. Are you going for a lush, tropical vibe, a clean, modern look, a relaxed cottage garden? Pick plants that fit the aesthetic you want, but also be realistic about how much maintenance you're willing to do. If you love gardening and don't mind spending time pruning and deadheading, you can choose more delicate or high-maintenance plants. If you'd rather enjoy your garden without a lot of work, stick with tough, low-maintenance varieties like ornamental grasses, succulents, and hardy shrubs. Another tip is to create a cohesive look with your home's architecture. Your front garden should complement your house, not compete with it. If your home is modern, think about using clean lines, geometric shapes, and a limited color palette. If you have a more traditional or cottage-style home, soft curves, layered plantings, and a mix of textures can work beautifully. Look at the materials used on your house: brick, stone, wood, metal, and echo those in your garden design. For example, if you have a lot of warm-toned brick, choose plants and materials that complement those tones. If your house has sleek metal accents, you might use steel edging or minimalist planters to tie everything together. Lighting plays a big role here too. The right lighting can enhance your home's features and create a seamless connection between house and garden. Now let's talk about pathways and flow. It's easy to focus on planting and forget about how people actually move through your front garden. Make sure your paths are wide enough and clearly defined. A narrow or awkward path can feel uninviting. Use materials like stone, brick, or gravel to create a path that's both functional and beautiful. Curved paths can add a sense of discovery, while straight paths feel more formal and direct. Also, think about sight lines. When someone walks or drives past your home, what do they see? Frame key views with plants or structures. Use taller plants to screen unsightly areas and low plantings to highlight beautiful architectural details. One of my favorite tips is to add layers of interest. Your front garden shouldn't be flat or one-dimensional. Even in a small space, you can create depth by layering plants of different heights, textures, and colors. Include vertical elements like trees, tall grasses, or trellises. Mix in mid-height shrubs and flowering plants. Then add ground covers or low-growing plants at the front. This layered approach draws the eye through the space and makes your garden feel full and inviting. Don't forget about seasonal interest. Choose a mix of plants that offer something at different times of the year. Spring bulbs, summer flowers, autumn foliage, and winter berries or evergreen foliage can keep your garden looking great year-round. Now, a really practical tip: plan for maintenance access. It's easy to get carried away with planting and forget that you need room to move around. Make sure you leave space to reach all areas of your garden for pruning, watering, and other tasks. It's also smart to include a few low-maintenance focal points. A striking sculpture, a beautiful pot, or a water feature can provide year-round interest without much upkeep. Finally, let's touch on common mistakes to avoid. One big mistake is planting too close to your house or each other. Always check the mature size of plants and give them enough room to grow. Crowded plants can become unhealthy and require constant pruning. Another mistake is using too many different elements. It's tempting to include every plant or material you like, but this can make your garden feel chaotic. Stick to a consistent style and palette for a more harmonious look. And don't forget about lighting. A beautiful front garden deserves to be enjoyed after dark too. Plan your lighting early in the design process so it feels integrated, not like an afterthought. So, to recap, design for your climate. Choose plants that match your style and maintenance level. Complement your home's architecture. Create good flow, add layers and seasonal interest, plan for maintenance, and avoid overcrowding and inconsistency. With these tips in mind, you'll be well on your way to creating a front garden that not only looks amazing, but also feels great to live with. In the next chapter, we're going to bring it all to life with some real-life examples and visual inspiration. I'll walk you through some stunning front gardens from around the world and point out the key ideas you can adapt for your own space. Stick around. You're going to love what's coming next. Now that you've got the principles, the trends, and the tips, let's bring everything to life with some real-world inspiration. In this chapter, we're going to take a little tour of some stunning front gardens from around the world. I'll highlight the key ideas from each one so you can think about how to adapt them for your own space. First up, let's look at a beautiful example from a modern home in California. This front garden features a sleek, minimalist design with strong geometric lines. The pathway is made of large concrete pavers set in a bed of fine gravel. Low, sculptural plants like agaves and yuccas line the path, creating a striking contrast with the smooth surface of the pavers. There's no traditional lawn here. Instead, the garden uses a mix of drought-tolerant plants and gravel for a contemporary, low-maintenance look. Accent lighting highlights the architectural features of the house and the bold shapes of the plants. It's a great example of how less really can be more when it comes to modern garden design. Next, let's hop over to Australia, where climate-conscious gardens are a big trend. One front garden I love uses native plants in creative ways. Tall grasses sway gently in the breeze, while Banksia and Grevillea add bursts of color and attract local wildlife. Instead of a solid hedge, this garden uses clusters of plants at varying heights to create privacy without feeling closed off. There's also a small seating area with a rustic wooden bench surrounded by fragrant herbs. It's the perfect spot to enjoy a morning coffee while watching the bees and butterflies. The key takeaway here: work with your local climate and native plants to create a front garden that's both beautiful and sustainable. Now let's visit a charming home in the UK countryside. The front garden here embraces a traditional cottage garden style. A curved stone path winds through dense plantings of lavender, roses, foxgloves, and alliums. The garden feels lush and abundant, with a delightful mix of colors and textures. But even here, modern touches are creeping in. Discrete solar lights are tucked among the plants, and a small gravel seating area adds a practical, low-maintenance element. The mix of old and new makes this garden feel timeless yet fresh. If you love a more relaxed, romantic style, this is a wonderful example to follow. The key is layering plants, using lots of textures, and letting the garden feel a little wild and free. Now, for something completely different, a tiny urban front yard in Tokyo. Space is at a premium here, but the homeowner has created a beautiful green oasis. A tall, narrow vertical garden covers one wall, filled with ferns, ivy, and small flowering plants. Below, a few large pots hold sculptural plants like bonsai and dwarf conifers. A simple wooden bench provides a place to sit and enjoy the space. Soft lighting adds warmth in the evenings. This garden shows that even the smallest space can become a lush, welcoming area. The secret? Think vertically. Choose plants carefully and edit ruthlessly to avoid clutter. Another inspiring example comes from a townhouse in Amsterdam. The front garden here doubles as a tiny urban farm. Raised beds line the path to the front door, filled with herbs, salad greens, and edible flowers. At the center of the space, a small bistro table and chairs invite passersby to stop and chat. The garden is a living, changing space that reflects the homeowner's love of cooking and community. If you want to try this style, remember to choose edible plants that look good too. Think chives with purple blooms, rainbow chard, or trailing nasturtiums. And don't be afraid to mix food plants with ornamentals for the best of both worlds. Finally, let's look at a beautiful Mediterranean-inspired garden in southern Spain. This front garden features gravel mulch, olive trees, lavender, rosemary, and terracotta pots. The color palette is soft and earthy, perfectly suited to the warm, dry climate. A wrought iron gate and tiled pathway add charm, while overhead string lights create a magical atmosphere at night. The whole space feels relaxed, welcoming, and deeply connected to its surroundings. The lesson here? Embrace local style and materials. If you live in a Mediterranean or warm climate, don't fight it. Lean into the colors, textures, and plants that thrive naturally there. As you can see, there's no single right way to design a front garden. The best gardens reflect the personality of the homeowner and the character of the place. Whether you go modern and minimalist, lush and wild, edible and practical, or anything in between, the key is to create a space that makes you smile every time you come home. In the next and final chapter, we'll wrap things up with a quick recap and a few final thoughts. Plus, I'll share some ideas to keep your garden looking great all year long. Stick around, we're almost there. And here we are. We've reached the final chapter. If you stayed with me through this whole video, thank you so much. I hope you're feeling inspired and excited to start thinking about your own front garden in new ways. Let's take a quick moment to recap what we've covered. We started by exploring why updating your front garden in 2025 is such a smart move. It's not just about aesthetics. It's about creating a space that reflects your lifestyle, supports sustainability, and makes your home more welcoming and enjoyable. We then looked at some key design principles: balance and symmetry, layering plants for texture and depth, choosing a color palette, adding thoughtful lighting, and making sure your garden matches the style and scale of your home. After that, we explored the top trends for this year: sustainable gardens with native and drought-tolerant plants, low-maintenance materials like gravel and steel edging, vertical gardening to maximize small spaces, minimalist designs with clean lines, mixed-use front yards that combine beauty and function, And of course, smart garden technology to make life easier. We also talked about some practical design tips, from working with your climate zone and selecting the right plants, to planning pathways and creating seasonal interest. And finally, we toured some beautiful real-life examples from around the world. Gardens large and small, modern and traditional, wild and minimalist. Each one offering ideas and inspiration you can adapt for your own front yard. So what's next? Well, now it's your turn. Take a walk around your front garden, or just look at it from the street. What do you love about it? What would you like to change? What could you add to make it more welcoming, more beautiful, or more functional? Start with one small step. Maybe you replace a patch of lawn with native plants. Maybe you add some lighting to highlight your favorite features. Maybe you set up a little seating area or plant a few herbs near your front door. Remember, you don't have to do everything at once. Gardens evolve over time, and that's part of the joy. The most important thing is to create a space that feels good to you, a space that makes you happy every time you come home. And if you're feeling stuck or unsure where to start, don't hesitate to look for more inspiration. There's so many great resources out there: books, magazines, garden tours, online communities. Connect with local gardeners to learn what works in your area. One final tip: take lots of before and after photos. It's incredibly satisfying to look back and see how far your garden has come. Plus, you might just inspire someone else to start their own garden journey. If you enjoyed this video, I'd love it if you gave it a like and subscribe to the channel. It really helps, and it means I can keep bringing you more tips and ideas for outdoor living. And if you got a favorite front garden trend or idea from this video, or if you're already planning your own garden project, drop a comment below. I'd love to hear what you're working on. Thank you again for watching. Here's to beautiful, sustainable, and joyful front gardens in 2025 and beyond. See you next time.